leading researchers believe the most successful organizations that have healthy growth, sustainability, as well as profitability understand the importance of shared values. And here at home, the Church insists it should continue to hold the needs and the desperation of the poor in front of the eyes of policymakers, politicians, and corporate South Africa, and to raise the immorality of inequality that makes South Africa unsustainable. Joining us now to explain these principles is the Archbishop Thabo Makgoba, who's the Archbishop of Cape Town. Archbishop Makgoba, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon, and thank you for being with us. Let's speak first about the partnership between the Walter Sisulu University as well as the Archbishop Thabo Makgoba Development Trust. What is the program about?
Thank you so much, Ntlantla, and thanks for having me on your program. The Archbishop Development Trust, over a number of years, this is our 10th year, but over the last 7 years, we have partnered with various universities to raise issues of values, where we try to open the corridors of academia to the populace at large, and particularly to the members of the community around those universities, to jointly reflect and to learn on some of the values that could make South Africa work, particularly around the issues of values, morality, and ethics.
Let's move now to the second annual meeting, which of course will be happening virtually this time around. Speak to us about the lecture and what we can expect. The former UN Secretary General and Executive Director of UN Women, that's Dr. Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, is expected to deliver a speech on the role of value-based leadership on local economic development in South Africa. How did you go about determining the theme for this year, and what's the significance of it?
Thank you so much. I mean, we're quite excited and quite humbled as the trust, and I don't want to speak for the university, but I think the university must be quite excited too. Last year we had Chief Justice Mogoeng, and to be followed by Dr. Ngcuka Mlambo is such a gift. The topics, maybe, Ntlantla, let me just quickly paint the context. Other 7 universities that we work with, there is a topic that we agree with the university. For example, University of Limpopo, we look at value-based leadership and skills development in a rural livelihood.
Right.
And so in Walter Sisulu University, because most of it is in the Eastern Cape context and slightly more urban than University of Limpopo, we agreed that local economic development is very important. When we talk about economy, we normally talk about the big issues, the Anglo-Americans of this world, the SABC, the Newzroom Afrika. But we wanted to say, how do we promote the local? How do we include the local as part and parcel of raising the value of the dignity of each person? Right. And the local also helps us to understand the celebration of the dignity of difference. So we bring Magwinya, we bring Telkom, we bring Vodacom, we bring all those local initiatives. So in order to make inclusive economy possible and not just an academic exercise.
Now, as you've mentioned, this all-embracing theme of leadership and values in the local economic development is a very broad topic. How can we reflect on it in the context of the recent local government elections?
I don't want to preempt my speaker because I'm looking for I'm looking forward to her, and just now my comments are ill, and she comes out. I know she's a person of integrity. She won't do that. But I think if one looks at, the issue of, let me take an example in Makgoba's Kloof. There is the Trout Water Association there, and the Trout Water Association will complain, for example, that the Tzaneen municipality is not doing this and this and this, and sometimes the Tzaneen municipality will come and deliver services to Trout Water. But the association also says we can see that either it's corruption or the municipality is overstretched or whatever. What is it that we can do also together to make that value clean, to engage the locals, and from the subscriptions to the association, hire the local people, and then the local people feel that they've got the dignity of having a job, and the place becomes clean, and then the place works. And as a South African, I know that in most cases that is not happening. Service delivery is not happening.
Yeah.
We now have an ad in Johannesburg of Spot the Potholes program. And that is painful. Fix the potholes instead of advertise a program where you spot the potholes. And I hope when you spot them that they are done. So it is part of complaining, part of raising a mirror to our local leaders, but part of raising a mirror to ourselves to say, we can do it. Let's do it together and make South Africa work, not for some, but for all.
Now, in the same breath, with coalition talks underway between various political parties, what do you believe should be at the forefront of the minds of leaders taking part in these talks to ensure that the interests of South Africans are placed first?
I think, Kantla, your last point coins it. It is to ensure that the interests of all South Africans are taken first. It is not lining up people's pockets. Right. It is not owning that Mercedes-Benz of the city or the council, but it is also not doing things for South Africans, but it is working with South Africans to do things for themselves. And you've got the money, you've got the mandate, you've got the policies. There are many people that want to see South Africa work. So that is, for me, more than a marriage of convenience that after 5 years nothing has been done. It is a question of how do we partner together and as active citizens and make some of our villages work, some of our schools safe, and some of our roads also safe. How do we make the girl child safe when she goes to fetch water in a rural area where the tap is far and where there's no toilets at schools, there's still personal training. So there are some of those things where the dividends of our democracy still needs to be visible. And I think this is an opportunity for all those coalition talks and for those that have been elected to the local government portfolios.
Archbishop Makgoba, always a pleasure speaking to you. That was the Anglican Archbishop Thabo Makgoba speaking to us there about the partnership between the Walter Sisulu University as well as the Archbishop Thabo Makgoba Development Trust that will, of course, result in that second annual virtual lecture where they secured the former UNSG, that's the Executive Director of Women, or UN Women, that's Dr. Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka. She'll be delivering a speech on the role of value-based leadership.